welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, I welcome you with warmth, love, peace, and prosperity. If you're a returner, thank you so much for your time and energy once again. I trust that this will be fruitful for you. I have not recorded in a while, so thank you for your patience as I've gone through some life transitions, recently moving, starting a new job. Super excited. So today we're going to talk about your creativity, where you can focus your creative energies, how you can best utilize your creative energy, put it towards any endeavors you have coming up, anything you want to manifest, anything you just want to attract in your life, how you can use your creative power to do so. A lot of us have set New Year's resolutions, and sometimes they kind of fall off throughout the year, but hopefully examining these ways you can use your creativity will help you to stick to those resolutions and or find a really solid solution for yourself and a way for you to truly express yourself and pour yourself into whatever it is you are achieving, whatever path you're on. So we are here, we are now, we are present, and we are open to this gift. So if you're unfamiliar with pick a card readings with me, the process looks a little like this. You will take some time to clear your mind, to quiet yourself, and then choose the card or the pile that calls the greatest to you. After you do that, you'll look through the information below. I'll have all the different timestamps down below, so you can just hop to the pile that has the message for you, or you're welcome to watch all the messages in this video. It's really up to you. Sometimes 2 or more piles call to us, and that's okay. And I recommend finding the pile that calls the strongest to you, as that will have a message for you. Now remember that this is a reading for the collective, for the hundreds, thousands, however many people who will watch this video. So it may not be as detailed as you like, but I do offer specific, detailed, personal readings. So if you would like a personal reading, please reach out to me on Instagram. It's Nova's Insights, like you see spelled below. Or you can visit my website, www.novasinsights.com, and I'd be more than willing to book a reading with you. I do live Zoom sessions, 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And then through Instagram, I offer specials for daily readings, just straight to your inbox. All right, so again, go ahead, take the time, pause the video, pick the pile that's calling the greatest to you, and we'll go ahead and get into it. All right, pile 1. Let's see. You and your creative energy. Where are we focusing it? What do we need to do? So, immediately it looks like we definitely need some nurturing. Okay, so with the Queen of Pentacles, getting the sense that you need to take the time to nurture, you know, the physical world around you. Find creative ways to do that. Okay, this could look like your home, maybe something like feng shui. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's a ancient Asian art of setting up furniture a certain way in your home to allow energy to flow in an optimal way, right? For instance, they say that your bedroom should not be directly above the kitchen, because like the heat from the stove, right, or the cooking that goes in there makes you have a hot environment, like energetically, right? But of course there's way more detail to that. I'm just giving you a simple example, but of course within that you still have the opportunity to decide, okay, so where would I like to place my bedroom, you know, or how would I like the lighting in my bedroom? Do I want to use a black light instead of a yellow light, or, you know, whatever. Taking the time to be creative in those endeavors, letting spirit lead you in that way. Perhaps you're thinking about going back to school getting creative with the type of program you might want. Or maybe you're a teacher, right? Because Pentacles dealing with like education. Maybe taking some time to really think about how can you best provide for your students? How can you authentically show up for your students based off of what you're truly passionate about, right? How can you use your creativity to show up in what you're educating your students about? Okay? How can you speak your truth in a creative way, right? Or maybe dealing with your finances. Maybe, for instance, you are not saving the way you want to save. Maybe you have to come up with a creative way or creative system structure for you to save more money. Maybe you get your latte every day and you always have change left over, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to save this money and put it in a scholarship pile, like using your creativity. Maybe you want to create a scholarship for someone, maybe your children, or maybe you don't have children but you have nieces and nephews and you want to create some kind of fund for them. Or maybe you are a person who is very creative. Maybe like you're an artist and you want to start your own scholarship for other people who are coming up, who are going to be going to school, and you want to be able to help them along the way in doing that. Definitely different ways that you can be manifesting and using your creative energy in this physical world around you. Okay, that might even look like maybe you want to create a program for your community center, and now during this time, maybe you live in a state where people are not gathering. I just moved from a state where people are. Now I'm in a state where people aren't. But and maybe when things open up again in certain states, maybe you will have used this time to create a program that you want to debut at your community center, or something like that. Anything. So those are just a few things that are coming. But that also could look like you taking time to be more creative in regards to how you want to pour into you, right? So that might look like, how can you be more creative in your self-care beyond your investment in other people? What does your daily routine look like? How can you jazz it up? How can you get more creative? How can you show yourself love throughout the day? How can you better nurture yourself? How can you tap more into this feminine energy, right? And again, whether you are a female or male watching this video, feminine and masculine energy exists in all of us. Okay, so, and this could even look like nurturing a garden. All right, this could look like you deciding to plant a garden, being creative, really thinking about, what do I want this aesthetically to look like? What do I want people to feel when they walk by? What colors do I want to have in my flower bed? You know what I'm saying? Like being really creative. Or maybe you decide you want to start caring for your health in a different type of way. So you plant an actual garden that has herbs in it. What kind of herbs do I want? What kind of things do I want to focus on in my health? Being creative in that way. Or maybe you want to start a hair care line, right? And so into the lives of other people to help them better nurture themselves. Decide, okay, well, I know I want rosemary, like I don't smell that a lot and I don't see that a lot in other products. So I'm going to plant rosemary in my garden to put that in my products to help people to better nurture and care for themselves, their skin, their hair, whatever it may be, right? So taking the time to be creative in regards to these physical things we want to create and manifest, and these ways we want to nurture and care for ourselves and others. Okay. Unstable. So this comes from my money and career deck. So finding some stability for yourself. Okay. And what I noticed is, these tarot cards, both of these ladies are sitting down. Of course, it's in reverse, so almost in the sense that like there's some instability, right? So you want to work to use your creative energy to create some stability for yourself and or others. And again, that can look like creating that scholarship or helping to bring some stability in other people's health. some stability and peace of mind for yourself. Maybe that looks like the way you talk to yourself. Maybe that looks like the type of affirmations that you're saying around your finances, around your education, around your home. What stability do you want to create in your home for yourself or for the other people who live in your home? Right? And sometimes we think about those who are younger than us. Sometimes we think about our children or our siblings if they're younger, but you can also help create stability for people who are older than you that might be living in your home too. Because remember, you have a voice, you have experience, you have wisdom, and sometimes you know how to create stability in certain ways they might not know how to. That might be putting one of your parents or your grandparents on to certain things like sea moss. You know what I'm saying? Help their health to be a little more stable. We all know when we feel better, we eat better, we do better, right? So just some things to be thinking about. Okay, so here in terms of, your finances, some things it says here on this card, there have been a lot of ups and downs with your finances. Money coming in fast and going out just as quickly. Fast changes regarding money or unexpected turn of finances. And we know in this time we're living in, all the things that happened last year, the pandemic, I don't give a lot of energy to it. So that might have actually been the first time I've even said that word on this channel. There's a lot of instability in people's finances. So the beautiful thing is that we've seen a lot of people become entrepreneurs. A lot of people use social media in particular and create their own websites to create some financial stability for themselves. So definitely dealing here with the Pentacles. Think about how you can bring some stability to your financial situation. Use those creative juices. Allow spirit to guide you. Okay. Butterfly. Yeah. So this butterfly is about transformation. This butterfly is about change. Okay. This butterfly energy is about metamorphosis, right? But it's here in reverse. So again, we're not looking for any change right now because we're looking to get stable. So we're looking to use what we already have. Use that creative energy that's already in you, where you are, how you already are, whenever, like do what you can do now. Start with where you are now to bring about the change in your life and the change in other people's lives, right? Momentum. This horse card is about momentum, tapping into expansive energy and the freedom to go, right? So sometimes you have to plant your roots in order to spread out, in order to branch out, but you got to get rooted first before you can go, right? And just take over like a vine or like weeds. You first got to get planted and then you can expand. Okay, so really focus on using your creativity to figure out what you can do right here, right now with what you already have. Okay, and then you'll be able to take off. And again, I mentioned using your intuition. I'm all about empowerment when it comes to your lives and intuition and you holding the pen to write the script of your life, right? So I really truly think that when we get out of our way mentally and we let things go and we realize we don't always have to have control over everything and allow spirit to guide us, we are really able to pick up momentum and things just start to fall into place and alignment is clear, right? That's what I truly believe and what I've seen in my life. So I speak from my own experience, Focus on success. So here, definitely getting the sense of it's about the journey. It's not about the end. It's not about the destination, right? It's like we just got settled. We're just using this energy to plant ourselves, using this creative energy to sow seed where we are now. So we're not going to focus on the larger picture at the end, right? The success. We're focusing on what it takes to get to that success. Being careful, being mindful, really using our creative energy every step of the way, allowing ourselves to be guided every step of the way, allowing ourselves to be inspired. Because I really feel like that's what creativity is, when the universe comes to you and drops little jewels, little ideas, but you live in the moment. Every moment is full of potential. And so when you open yourself up to that, you tap into the expansive energy, you tap into the all. You tap into that energy in that moment that wants to connect with you to take that next step, wants you to take that seed and allow it to germinate. Put your little special on it. The energy wants to be channeled through you. So when you're able to be present, not too far in the future, not caught up in the past, not depressed from the past, not anxious about the future. For some of us, it takes a little more work. Some of us, it doesn't, right? But when you're able to really be present, be in the here and now, you can allow that space of potential that you live in to inspire you, just like that. Okay? Change again, right? Not time for change. Time to get stable. We're not changing, okay? So use your creative energy. Ask the universe, ask your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, whatever you call them. Look within you and figure out how can you apply your creative energy to bring about changes in your physical world, right? We're not talking about just those spiritual things, the unseen things, your thoughts and things. We're talking about like actually bringing those things into fruition. How do they manifest? How do they show up in this physical world around you? How does it show up in your finances? How does it show up in your education, in your home, in your community, right? Does that look like you writing a book, right? Does that look like you journaling? Whatever you need to do to nurture yourself and or others. Get creative. Do your thing. Be inspired. All right? So if any of this resonated with you, please leave a comment down below. It helps people who are scrolling by to see kind of like what it's about. Do I want to take a step in? Do I want to dip my toe in the waters? Let us know. Those words can possibly help inspire other people too. If you are not already following or subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know when other videos like these are released. Again, thank you for your patience. If you've already been subscribed and you've been following me, if you're not already following me on Instagram, please come check me out. I've got a lot of goodies on there. The Instagram handle is Nova's Insights, just like you've seen down below. And I thank you for your energy and your time. Again, I'm Nova of Nova's Insights. Come visit the website www.novasinsights.com to learn a little bit more about me and see the type of readings I have to offer. Again, this was just a larger reading for the collective, but if you're looking for something more specific, more detailed for you, you are more than welcome to book a reading. I do live reading sessions, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or if you just want something smaller, you're welcome to reach out to me through Instagram for a daily special that I run for a smaller spread. All right, peace and blessings. Pile 2. How are we using this creative energy? How can we best use it? Ooh. Okay. So the Hermit and the Ten of Cups. Immediately what I'm getting is family. Okay. Loved ones. I'm seeing that you need to really come out of this space that you've been in. Maybe you've been in a shell. Maybe you haven't been around your family. But find creative ways to engage with your family. Okay, find creative ways to engage with your loved ones. Okay, those who are closest to you, because a lot of times your happiness really depends on that. Happiness is an inside job, and fulfillment and joy, but you have to allow yourself that. Okay, so if you struggle with that, or if you've taken time away just to step back and figure out how you can be a better person for those you love, great. Just find some creative ways to integrate yourself back into that space, or use your energy to find creative ways to create deeper and better bonds. Okay, with the information that you were seeking when you removed yourself, find creative ways to teach that to others that you love, to share it with others that you love. I think a lot of times the best way to do that is just to be that example yourself, right? And just show them. I like to paraphrase quotes, so excuse me if I don't say this correctly, but you'll get the gist of it. For instance, Malcolm X, someone had asked Malcolm X, or he was just saying that, how do you go about helping people better their lives. How do you go about helping people see that the life they're living maybe not is not maybe the best? And he said, if you have a clean glass, you just set it down next to somebody else's glass. They'll notice how clean your glass is in comparison to how dirty their glass is, and then that'll make them want to clean their glass, right? So really, like, this living example, my dad always says a good product sells itself. Excuse me today, my tongue, I think I'm just a little excited, like I haven't recorded a video in a while. So let me slow down and take a couple breaths, right? All right, I'm excited to be here with y'all. So so yes. Use your creative energy to really tap into these people, and certain people you can say certain things to, and certain people you can't. Certain people you can do certain things around, and certain people you can't. So you have to be creative, you have to be tactful, but I'm definitely getting the sense of you coming out of a space where you've gained some knowledge, and it's time for you to be creative in your ways of sharing that with those that you hold the nearest and dearest to you. Okay. And I think really with yourself too, be creative, be authentic in the expression of what it is that you've stepped away to experience and or learn. So whether you're expressing that to other people or you're deciding to live that and play it out in your life, do it in a way that only you can. Do it in the unique way that you're meant to do it. Be creative, spice it up, jazz it up, whatever it is, put your energies there. Windfall. Okay, so this is specifically my money and career deck, and so we have windfall in reverse, but let's just see what it has when it's upright, right? So it says you're about to receive a windfall of money or pay raise. Money is currently in a positive cycle. This is a great time to treat yourself or make that big purchase. Okay, so with this being in reverse, maybe it's not going to be a great windfall for you. A lot of people, especially in this time that we've been in for almost a year now with this condition that we're going through and experiencing, a lot of people have not been plugged into money. A lot of people have had to be creative. A lot of people have started their own businesses, which has been awesome. Become entrepreneurs, found ways to use social media to bring in money. So you might have to put in a little extra energy to be creative to figure out how you can create that windfall for yourself, but less unexpected and a little more energy and intention in creating that financial space you want to be in for yourself and or others. Okay, so get creative there. Trust and know the universe will provide for you, continue to provide for you, and just do your part with really taking the time to be intentional about how can I create a more stable financial situation for myself. How can I use the talents and skills that I already have to create a better financial situation for myself? Okay, maybe you have been doing that in the time that you've taken away. Maybe you haven't been pouring your finances into your friends and your family because you've been trying to save, you've been trying to invest. Maybe now it's time for you to come back out and say hey, you all, this is what I was doing with my money. Not that you ever have to explain anything to anybody, but you might share with them this is how I was investing to make things better for ourselves, better for us, or better for myself, so I can be in a better position to provide for you all. Okay, so the octopus and the scorpion. So this octopus energy is really about yearning, reaching, lacking boundaries and or direction. Okay, and the scorpion energy is about being passionate, sometimes being competitive. Okay, sometimes tending towards isolation, right? Because you can get a little too competitive and you kind of isolate yourself. But anyway, so coming back to this octopus energy, this longing, lacking boundaries, and lack of distance and direction. So what we want to do here is, in directing our creative energies or trying to figure out how we can be more creative, one, creating boundaries for ourselves, right? Sometimes we need to create boundaries for ourselves with our loved ones, because even with re-engaging with them in a creative way, that might look like you haven't taken time to step back and create boundaries for yourself to better engage with those that you love. You know, that can be relationships, intimate ones, or that could be your family, that could be your best friend, whoever it might be, you know. But taking time to create those boundaries, and sometimes you might need to do that even in a creative way, or express it in a creative way. You know, that might be something as simple as maybe you get rid of your voicemail, right? Creative way for you to help people to stop dumping on you. You know, maybe you found that people leave you voicemails and they dump and it's just too much for you. A creative solution is turn your voicemail option off, you know, just whatever that might be for you, you know. Or in order to have boundaries, maybe you might need to create something like a little box where people write you notes and they leave it in the box, and when you're ready to retrieve the notes in the box, you can do that. Or you create a whiteboard and have people leave you notes, you know, instead of maybe, you know, engaging with you in times that you feel as though you don't need to engage, right? And here we have this reaching yearning. Okay, so with the people, with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, whoever it might be, really taking that time to be creative, to figure out how can I provide myself with what I need so that I'm not reaching out to other people or being dependent on people in ways you shouldn't be dependent, right? We live in community, so sometimes we're interdependent on other people, and sometimes we do need to be independent. We do need to do for ourselves. We need to refill ourselves so that we can give to others, right? Take care of yourself first, but not leave yourself in a position where you're reaching too much because you don't want to burden other people, and or you don't want to become dependent on people where you're creating crutches in your life, right? So find creative ways to be able to be self-sufficient and create the things in your life that you need to sustain yourself, okay? So with this Scorpion, this passionate, competitive, sometimes isolated energy, well, we know with this Hermit, we're coming out of this isolated energy. So we're not going to focus there. But with the passion, you know, really allow your passion to guide the things that you create for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, you know. Competition. So you might even need to find a way to get competitive. But again, I truly believe, and I read somewhere recently that, you know, when you stay in your own lane, there is no traffic. I loved that. I loved that so much. So I truly think it's not really about being in competition with other people, but being in competition with yourself. And you might have heard the only person you're in competition with is the person who you were yesterday. When you're trying to be better, you're trying to figure out how you can better do things, how you can be more creative, how you can be more inventive, how you can improve what it is that you've already put out there for yourself, for other people. Okay, so we're not reaching and we're not being in a negative kind of space with competition. We're knowing that the universe provides the things that we need. So, and we're not being in competition in a sense of lack and that you have to beat someone out. Okay, there's enough sun to shine on us all. I truly believe that. You know, somebody gave the example of when you go down the bread aisle, how many different types of bread are in the bread aisle? Yet and still, those shelves stay stocked and people buy all those different types of bread. So even if, you know, if your creative energy leaves you in a place of thinking, well, I want to create this, but other people are already selling this or other people are already offering it, that's okay. You will have your own specific clientele. You know, if it's something that you physically offer, there will be people who like what you offer in the way that only you can offer it, in the way that only you can present it with your personality, right? This is something I've had to work on, you know, I'm only telling you things that I've had to tell myself, because I've had to work through this as well, you know. Think about all the different tarot readers there are on YouTube, but I have to trust to know that my message that I have, only I can present it in this way, and whoever's meant to see it will see it, and whoever's meant to come to my channel will come to my channel, and whoever's meant to stay will stay. And maybe that's based off of my energy, maybe it's based off of my perspective, my little paraphrases, my voice, whatever. You know, people will be drawn to whatever you offer based off of your creativity, and just find ways to authentically express yourself, be as creative as possible, and it will go, it will flow. Okay. So here we have be patient and perseverance. So definitely here with this be patient, I think this is that energy of coming out of that hermit mode, because you have it here in reverse too. So it's time to come out, you know, be really forthcoming. It's time for you to present what it is that maybe, like I said, you've been studying, whatever you've been researching, whatever you've been taking time to create. Find ways to really bring that to the people in a creative way, not being forceful, not being pushy, but presenting it in its own time, in a way that only you can, in a new way, an exciting way, in an engaging way. And then persevere in what you're doing as well. Know that what you're creating is worth creating and is worth engaging people with, you know. And sometimes it might not feel like the easiest, but it'll be worth it. So see it through, okay? You have that ability to see it through and trust and know that it's worth it. But that's something you have to believe within yourself first, you know. And you know how they say fake it until you make it? Well, I like the term faith it until you make it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said sometimes faith is taking that first step even when you don't see the whole staircase, right? So you might not see the larger picture right now, but it's okay. Just keep going, you know, and trust the universe. The ancestors will guide you. You know, we say that you stand on the shoulders of giants. So sometimes you're carrying on the torch or the work of someone who has already started it, you know, and maybe it'll be meant for someone to come after you to continue the work. So maybe you planted a seed and you won't see the tree fully grow up, and you won't be able to reap the benefits of the fruit, but maybe it's meant for the next generation to, meant for your children to, or people in the community to. Like, it's okay. Sometimes we plant seeds and never look back because we have other places to go, other parts of the journey to get to plant seeds in other places. But we trust and know that energy that we put into it will come to fruition in due time. So if any of this resonated with you, please like the video, please comment down below. When you leave comments, it helps other people to engage in the video. You know, maybe people are wavering, they're not sure they want to click on it, but when they see how it maybe blessed you and what you've taken away from it and how you'll apply it to your life, that can help bless other people. So remember, this is a reading for the massive. So the masses, we say massive in Caribbean culture. So if you find that you want a more detailed, specific reading for yourself, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at my website, www.novasinsights.com, spelled the same way you see below with no space. Or reach out to me on Instagram. Just DM me and let me know you're seeking a reading. I do live Zoom readings, or I can do them on IG, whatever platform is easier for you. 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And I run a daily special for an inbox reading as well, which is also a good way for you to get the insight that you need. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when similar readings are released. And again, thank you so much for being patient with me and everything that I've been transitioning through since the end of last year. It's been beautiful, and I'm so excited for what's to come that is a part of this transition. So peace and blessings. Pile 3. This feels so good to get back to. It's been a couple weeks, and thank you so much for your patience as I've shared that, I went through a couple of major life transitions, and I'm really excited for what those transitions have led to. Yet I just haven't been able to record in a while, so I'm grateful. Thank you for your patience and being here with me today. So pile 3, how can you best use this creative energy? All right. So the Six of Swords in reverse and the King of Swords. All right. So immediately I'm seeing here, maybe there's something you need to mend. Maybe there's some words you need to be pouring into your spirit child. Go back and mend some things that have been wounds from your childhood. That's one. Or maybe there's some younger people in your life that you can be pouring into verbally, and or just the people in your community, people who are close to you, but youth, it could look like you finding creative ways to pour into the youth. Okay, finding creative ways to heal yourself, things that have happened in your past. Sometimes that might look like doing things that are not traditional. For you, it might not be going to a therapist. It might not be, going to a psychologist. For you, it could just be maybe doing your own shadow work. It could be you finding therapy through planting a garden. It could be you providing therapy for yourself through journaling. For some people, this doesn't seem as creative, but for some people, they've never done these things in attempts to heal themselves in a more creative way, in a different kind of way. So, again, this reading is for a larger group of people, so everything might not resonate with you, but for those things that do, please take and apply them to your life, okay? So, King of Swords. This King of Swords energy, I'm getting listen, you either already know how to use your words, or you're a wordsmith, or you're almost there. Okay. Yeah, you got it. And or the power of your words, but you just need to find a more creative way to express them, or maybe the power of your thoughts, right? Maybe how to read bodies, read language, maybe you're versed, maybe you're a polyglot, maybe you speak a lot of different languages, but we need to maximize that, okay? Find ways to be more creative. Maybe you're writing something, maybe you're writing a book, or maybe you're writing a script for a podcast, right? Maybe you are using your voice in a particular way, What's coming to me is you might need to give voice to things that have happened in your past, going back towards your childhood, freeing up that throat chakra in a different way, healing it in a different kind of way, really speaking to these things. There might be some pain there. Or you might have had some experiences that people invalidated while you were younger. And now as you're older, you're thinking back, you're like, no, when I said what I said, that was the truth. Or when I said I felt this, or I've experienced this, or I said that was true. They called me crazy, but that was true. It could even be something that you consider something like paranormal activity. I don't know. Everybody's experience is different. Everybody's experience is their own. But trust your truth. Okay? Express that. Write it. Sing it. Dance it out. Sometimes it's just so amazing. You never know what you put out there, how it'll be used, right? Because sometimes people write songs. Sometimes people write stories that turn into things like plays. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. Somebody could turn your song into a skit, right? So sometimes we create things for ourselves, just as self-expression. But then sometimes people come along and then they pour their creativity on top of the things that we've already created, and it's a collaboration. You might not even know the collaboration exists. You know what I'm saying? You don't know that it's happening, but you might look up one day and you look on social media and see that somebody took something that you did and made it even more great. or you might put something out and somebody reaches out to you and say, hey, I want to collaborate. I want to change this up. I want to switch it up. I want to slice it and dice it this way and make it even more amazing. Right? But if you don't release it, if you don't take that step to put it out there, you're missing an opportunity for something like that to happen. Okay? So again, that could look like going back to your hometown. Maybe that's collaborating with some people that are already there. Something just came to me was ancestry, like your family tree. Going back, recording these stories, talking to people that you don't usually talk to. Maybe there's some older family members you haven't taken the time to hear their stories. Maybe you haven't taken the time to find out what their lives were like. Maybe there are people in your family that you know nothing about, but there's other people in your family that can tell you about them, but you just haven't taken that time to ask the questions. Maybe it's meant for you to be that person to create the family tree if it doesn't exist. Okay? All right. So, look at that, writer. Stories matter. Okay? So with this in reverse, though, I'm getting the sense that this might really be something that's oral, yes, stories matter. Yes, it's something to be written, but it could even be something like letting somebody else write your biography. Maybe you have ideas that you need to give to other people and let them use their talents and their skills to create something based off of ideas and concepts that you have. Maybe that's the way you're using your creativity. Okay. Or maybe you're writing something and it's just not time to release it. You need to pour into it a little more before you release it. Okay? But really take inventory of your skills, your talents. Maybe you've been writing and maybe the universe is saying that's not exactly the way I want you to move forward. Maybe it's not meant for you to write a certain experience or write about a certain experience. Maybe it's meant for you to, like I said, maybe it's meant for you to dance it out. Maybe it's meant for you to get out on YouTube and verbalize it, but whatever it is, trust the creative power that you have within you and find different ways to express it. Okay. Maybe you were thinking about writing yourself a letter. Maybe you're thinking about writing a letter and sending it home to somebody in your family. Maybe it's not meant for you to do that. Maybe it's meant for you to pick up the phone, and be tactful in the things that you say. And that's also something that stems out of creativity. Okay. That's something sometimes where we need to tread lightly and really, take some time to really be inspired. And what just came to me is sometimes when you need to relay a message, really examine the energy behind the message you want to relay. In ego, are you relaying it out of love, out of necessity, or are you just letting your emotions sometimes get in the way? Sometimes your emotions, good and they serve you in expressing certain things, but sometimes, they get in the way. Okay. So this peacock energy and this deer energy. So the peacock energy in reverse. So typically this peacock energy is an energy around like inner beauty, compassion, being able to like really assimilate to anything. Okay. And this deer energy is like a graceful, intuitive, loving kind of energy. So while they seem similar, they're quite different. And again, because we have this peacock energy in reverse, let's go ahead and address that. So with this idea of kind of like assimilating, this inner beauty, compassion, with using your creativity, maybe you were finding a way where you're not being worried about assimilating. You're not being worried about fitting in. Again, remember, like I said, maybe it's this energy of you're not worrying about what people said about you in the past or what people might think about you and the way you decide to express your creativity with your words or whatever form it decides to come out in, right? You're not worrying about that. You're not worrying about people thinking that, oh, that doesn't look good, that looks good, whatever. Like, it's not about that. You are simply focused on your message and what's meant to be expressed. Okay. And sometimes it might not be perceived as the most compassionate thing, right? Sometimes it looks like tough love, but that's okay, because sometimes that's what it needs to be, right? And I don't know what just came to me was boundaries for some reason. Sometimes people don't like it when we put up boundaries, but sometimes we need to do that for ourselves to maintain our own health. Sometimes we need to put up those boundaries for other people, because sometimes people use us as a crutch. So you might just need to get creative with your delivery and how you express that to people. Okay. Be creative in how you show your compassion. It might not be delivered in a way you typically deliver it, so it might look different. You might just have to get creative and help people to see that you still love them. It might not look traditional. It might not look like the way you usually deliver it, but you still love them. You still have that compassion, okay? And so allow your intuition to guide you in this creativity. I really think that creativity is inspiration, when you're in the moment and things just come to you, right? But also intentionally allowing yourself to step back and say, I open myself up to the intuition that's going to lead me and guide me in being creative. Okay. So, and being graceful, right? Knowing that we don't always have to know, we don't always have to have it figured out. We just need to show up at times, right? Sometimes we just need to open up our mouth. Sometimes we just need to put the pen to the paper and it'll flow. Trust that. This could also be an energy around trusting your inner child and that imagination. Some of us have stopped dreaming. Some of us have stopped imagining. And sometimes we need to tap back into that in order to get to our creative space. Think back to and channel that energy that you used to have when you used to imagine and used to create when you were younger. Get in that space. What did that feel like? What kind of environment were you in? Try to recreate that for yourself, okay? That might have been a very loving environment. That might have been a very supported environment. For some people, I think about like Tyler Perry, part of his testimony was that he used to hide, I think he said like in this space, in the basement or like under the house or wherever, like under the porch, in times where there was fighting in his house. But out of those experiences, he was able to create. And you see that theme in his plays and his movies where, people are experiencing pain and trauma. But he was able to use that, transmute it, and create pieces of art that provide inspirational messages for people, So if you're ready, if, going to that space where you found that you were creative and you got in your creative and imaginative kind of juices, and space was a place of hurt and pain, I trust that you will have on the other end of it that courage, that support you need in order to push through that, to grow through that, to heal that, in order to tap into that creativity again. And you never know what creation can come out of what you choose to heal, what you revisit. Okay. So lastly, we have begin to explore and reverse. Okay. And love. So again, here comes this, the same kind of loving energy. So we already spoke on that, but to begin to explore, I think that with this being in reverse, it's really about you. You're not really going outside to explore other people. You're taking time to explore you. And again, revisiting what's already in you. Okay. Using this creative energy in a very reflective way, a very self-reflective way, because there's something that needs to be born in you. And it seems like that seed is already there. It's been planted. You just need to go back, revisit it. You need to unearth it. Okay. And based off of recent experiences you've had past your childhood, again, be firm, stand on that rock, of what as your truth and the experiences that you've lived through. You have authority in that. You can speak on your life, what you've gone through. nobody can discredit that. It's your own experience, your own journey. Okay. So this is how you are able to use your creative energy moving forward. So if any of that resonated with you, please leave a comment down below, because leaving the comments down below allow other people who are maybe unsure if they want to really watch the video or unsure what they might get out of it. They see your comments below and see that like it's worthwhile. It's something that can bless them, you know? So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please come follow me on Instagram. It's Nova's Insights. It's spelled the same way you see below without the space. Okay. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified when other videos like this come out. And again, this is a reading for the collective. So if you would like something more detailed and specific to you, please reach out to me. You can visit the website www.novasinsights.com for your own personal reading, or if you're just looking for more insight based off of what was shared here, you can reach out to me. You can just DM me on Instagram, let me know you want a reading. I do live Zoom readings, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or if you want a smaller, shorter inbox reading, you can get that as well. So peace, love, light, and create. All right. Pile 4. How are we to use this creative energy? Justice. 3 of Swords. Okay. So with this creative energy, I'm getting a sense that you might be continuing something that already exists. So it could have something to do with like a charity, a nonprofit. It could even be a government organization that gives to those in need. But I'm not seeing that you have to start it yourself. Also see that you might be helping people who have been victims. So that could look like being victims of domestic sex trafficking. I used to work with that population. You know, takes some love. You know, you could be a very loving, giving person. It could be people who've recently come out of jail and, you know, you do work to help reduce the rate of recidivism. Or it could be maybe children coming out of the system, right? Or it could be somebody maybe 18 aging out of the foster care system and now they have to navigate their way through life. Maybe they're trying to go to school, like go to college, or they're trying to figure out how to buy their first car, or, you know, get their first apartment. Just being who you are, showing up in a very loving way is what I'm hearing, right? Again, not you necessarily having to create these type of organizations or these nonprofits, but just continuing the work. I'm kind of tongue-tied, not tongue-tied, but it's okay. Continuing the work that is already going on and doing it in the most authentic way you can, because that is also creative, you know, just realizing that every case is different, every person is different, and that's going to call a different side of you, a different part of you, in which you creatively step up to be attentive to every individual you interact with. Okay, so definitely getting the sense of like social justice work, human rights work, any of those humanitarian type of efforts. Okay, for sure. It could be helping a survivor of, you know, domestic abuse, you know, pouring into, say, a mother, you know what I'm saying? Maybe she has her child and maybe she's trying to prepare for an interview because she has to get out there. Maybe she's been a stay-at-home mother, you know. It could simply look like donating clothes, okay? Or using your talents and skills and resume writing, helping someone who needs these type of skills, or who don't have these type of skills, and being creative in the way that you can, you know, and helping them to get back on track. New money. Okay, so with this new money card, definitely getting the sense, because these are my career and finance cards, that you don't have to pour money into this, right? There's so many different ways to be creative in helping people. You know, even with the homeless, you don't always have to give them money. Sometimes you can give them a used jacket, right? And in that, thinking about creativity, maybe in 2021 you've decided you want a whole new look. You want a whole new style, and you're shifting into that. So you go through your closet and you check to see all the things that you want to donate. You know, it could be someone maybe who just got evicted, and say you have an extra couple of blankets that you don't use anymore. You never know how that could bless someone. Okay. So not seeing you pouring money into the situation, but finding other ways to give of your time, talent, resources, other than actual cash. Okay, being creative. Sometimes that just looks like a kind word. You know, really being creative, definitely been in those situations where you see someone and just looks like, and you feel like you need to pour into them. You don't always know what to say, but in that moment, you just allow yourself to be led. You like allow yourself to be inspired, or you ask for the words before you go to them, you know, and you be creative in that way, because you're taking the opportunity. You've helped to create a situation, and then you're going to pour. It's almost like seeing the situation, you see the soil, and you know you need to till it. So going to till it to plant the seed, right? So sometimes you're creating things in other people. Yes. All right. The owl, vulture. Okay, we got two birds, two air signs. So the owl and the vulture. The owl is energy around like clairvoyance, treasures, discovery, abundance, because you have the eye to see where these hidden treasures are, right? So I think that with this word, kind of like I was just saying, sometimes you see opportunities, you're guided, you use your intuition, and you see, okay, this is where I need to interject. This is how I can contribute to the situation. This is where I can use my creativity. This is the skill that I have, you know, getting the sense that maybe you have an eye for seeing opportunities, an eye for seeing how things can be fixed, how things can be made better, how people can be made more whole. And you have a gift for being able to pour into people. Okay. Yes. So with the vulture, that's an energy of like cleaning out. That's an energy of rebalancing, an energy of purifying. Sometimes it's a guardian type of energy. Okay. So really getting the sense of like you're helping to sow back into people who are really feeling the brunt of life. You're really meeting people where they are and finding creative ways to, you know, sometimes it's humor. Sometimes people show up with their humor to help lighten situations, and that's very creative energy. Not everybody has that gift to be funny, to be able to put a smile on people's faces, to be able to make them laugh. You know, some people are just natural with it. Some people work on it, you know. And what also just came to me was like, maybe you host a charity event, you know. Maybe you use your talent to raise money, because again, it's not something that's necessarily coming out of your bank account, right? Because I don't see that here. But maybe you use your talent of humor as a charity to raise money for people who are in need. Or maybe you band together a group of comedians, people you know. Okay. It's just kind of like balance the scores, you know. And as a guardian, seems that maybe you have a heart for people who have experienced traumas and experienced hardships. Maybe you want to help try to protect them from the harder things in life. Maybe you are somebody who helps to reflect on situations with people. Not to say that it's their fault while they're in the situations. Certain people, unfortunately, yes. Certain people, no. You know, and so maybe in those times where if reflection is needed, you're there to help them do that. And you're just able to come in and help kind of like lick some of those wounds, you know, like a wolf or a dog would do. But again, in this rebalancing, a lot of times people think of the vulture and they're disgusted because they eat, you know, just carcasses. But imagine if that vulture didn't exist, you know, or scavengers didn't exist. We just have rotting bodies all over the place, riding animals, and that would breed disease and things. So the vultures are very much needed. But again, here I really get the sense of bringing new life to people, right? Helping people to realize like there's joy, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, you're moving past that rebalancing. Okay, moving past that being guarded. You've helped, there's the situation has been purified. So how do you help get them over that hump? How do you be there for them in the midst of it and then beyond? Count your blessings. Yeah, I think that with using this creative energy, maybe that's something you can help people do. Count their blessings, help them to see, again, the lighter side of things. Okay? Excuse me. And at the same time, too, maybe you help people do that, or you can help people do that in a more creative way. Because sometimes people need to shift perspectives, and maybe sometimes they're trying to count blessings that they've already counted, and it just seems like, okay, that happened, but so sometimes your perspective might be able to come in and say, okay, well, have you considered it from this point of view or this angle? That's where your creativity kicks in. Or you might find other exercises for them to be able to count their blessings in a different kind of way. Okay, so not only see new blessings, but it will be able to count the blessings in a different kind of way. Okay, and time out. So with this energy, again, kind of like this idea of you're helping people get back into the game. Okay, finding creative ways to help people get back into the game. And this could possibly come from your own life experience. Don't be scared to share your story with others. Don't be scared to share your testimony with others, because you never know who that could bless. You might be able to share with somebody the time that maybe you were incarcerated, or you had an illness, or you experienced homelessness, whatever that might be. And that could help inspire other people for them to see, oh, wow, you made it. Oh, wow, look how far you've come. Okay. And that might come in a very creative storytelling kind of way. Who knows? But just be authentically you, and whatever the words are that you deliver to these people in these spaces who are moving through these social justice, human rights, humanitarian kind of spaces in which they're in need. Okay, so if this resonated with you in any kind of way, please like the video, comment down below. The comments help these people who sometimes come to the page or the video and they're not sure, they want to click play, they're not sure, but once they read your comments, they say, okay, like, oh cool, like there's something to take away from this reading, let me check it out, maybe I'll be blessed too. Okay, so if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscription button and click the little bell so you can be notified when similar videos like these are released. And again, thank you so much for your patience as I've gone through a couple of life transitions, major ones, but they've been awesome. I'm really grateful. So excited for 2021, thankfully. Again, this was for the collective. So if you would like a more in-depth, more detailed reading based off of what you see here, or just a reading that's specific to you based on something else that you would like to hear about, or a general reading, please come by my website. It's www.novasinsights.com, like you see below, no space, or come check me out and follow me on Instagram. Send me an inbox message. I do 30-minute and 60-minute live Zoom readings, or you can do it through Instagram or whatever platform is most convenient for you. And I do shorter inbox readings as a daily special. So reach out. Thank you for your time and attention. Peace. Lastly, pile 5, but not the least at all. So how are we to use our creative energy? Ooh, okay. So we have here the High Priestess in reverse and Two of Pentacles. So with the High Priestess being in reverse, I think this is really like that message of you really have to rely on what you already feel, what you already know, right? Sometimes we're brought to a space where we've been inspired, we've been given the inspiration, but we're still not moving on it. Okay, sometimes we're stuck in our own head. We're juggling things that we don't even need to juggle. The inspiration has already come to us. We already have the intuitive hit. We just need to move on it. Okay, so trust the creative juices that are already flowing within you. Trust the creative message that's already come to you. Trust the creative inspiration that's already come, and move forward. You already have what you need. Okay, trust what's been told to you. Trust what you feel. Okay, trust it and then move forward. Don't juggle it. Don't second guess yourself. There's no two thoughts. It doesn't need to be. Okay, trust your first feeling. Trust your first thought. Know that the creator lives and moves throughout you. You channel the creator. Okay, that same creative force that exists is within you. It's all connection. Okay, so this is a card that comes from my finance and career deck. So let's see what we have here. So we have the promoter, but in reverse. So I'm getting the sense here that you don't need to be promoting anybody else's ideas. You don't need to be promoting anybody else's creativity. You need to be believing in yourself and pushing the project or the idea that you've been inspired with. Okay, really truly focus on birthing what's inside of you. Then you promote your stuff. Okay, you market your stuff, you advertise your stuff. Okay, definitely are in a good space where you've received that energy, you've received the inspiration. You're quite fine. Feel free to move in that space, because the creativity will continue to come to you just like it came to you in this time as well. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's see here. We've got the crocodile and we've got the starfish. So with the crocodile, it's a energy of kind of like kicking back, cooling off, just waiting. Sometimes it's the energy of submerging yourself. Okay, sometimes it's the energy of collecting energy. Okay, so I'm getting the sense of, again, with that creative energy, that inspiration you've already gotten, it's time for you just to kick back, relax your brain. Okay, don't stress yourself anymore. Take some time just to relax, exhale. You got what you need and you're gonna move forward with it. But relax a bit. Be assured that it's okay. I don't need to think about it anymore. I don't need to stress about it anymore. I have the inspiration that I need, and that's what I'm going to move forward with. Okay, so this starfish is this energy around being like spectacular, being beautiful, being alluring. Okay, really being something that's like calling people in. Sometimes it can relate to like the superficial and shadow, right? So with this card being in reverse, you know, I want you really to examine the ways in which you've been doubting yourself, ways in which you haven't been sure, and really recap like what you've experienced, what you've noticed, how you feel, what you sense when your creative hits come to you, when these intuitive hits come to you, and then work to create something for yourself that you know, like, okay, this is how I put a stop to this when I realize I'm thinking too much. You know, like work on being more aware, okay, being more mindful about these things, okay, so you can beautify your life. Because right now it's like you're creating stress and things that are not necessary, you know, and you're not moving forward in a way that you could be moving forward already, because you already have gotten the inspiration. So cool off, reset, move forward, so you can help to beautify the world in the way that you're meant to, that only you can do it, okay? In a way that only you can beautify yourself and others, okay? Because remember, we're all meant to shine in our own way, okay? See, look, think things through. No, you don't really have to think things through. You just have to be inspired, you know? Like I said, sometimes your creativity comes through inspiration. And I think mostly that's what creativity is just being inspired. You just get a hit and it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to create, you know? But yes, here, don't think too much. Don't necessarily have to see it through. Sometimes you just have to get started. You know, first, sometimes you just have to open up your mouth, or sometimes you just have to put the pen to the paper, or you just have to take that first step. Okay? Really work on getting out of your mind and just getting into the moment, being present, allowing yourself to be fully there, to receive. Okay? And then lastly, we have financial discipline, but it's in reverse. So I'm getting the sense here that it's time to go ahead and pour into it. Again, go ahead and get started. All right. Maybe you weren't sure. Maybe you're like, do I want to invest in this? Do I want to get this new camera? You know, maybe you've been wanting to record videos for YouTube, or maybe you've been wanting to take pictures of weddings and things like that. Whatever it is, maybe you want to buy a new set of paints. Whatever your creative outlet is, go ahead and do it. Because I'm saying here, like, I'm not saying necessarily splurge, but if you want to and you've earned it, do that. But go ahead and invest, get the resources that you need in order to carry out your creativity. Because there's a beautiful gift that's been waiting. It's been sitting there and now it's ready to emerge, okay? So what I want to say is, trust yourself. As always, you know, my readings are about intuitive empowerment. So you've got this. It's already in you. So for those of you who are looking for a little more in-depth information, a deeper reading, something more specific to you, feel free to reach out to me. As you know, I do personal readings live via Zoom or Instagram or any other platform that might be a little more convenient for you, that we both have. Do 30-minute and 60-minute readings, and I do offer shorter inbox readings through Instagram. So you're welcome to come follow me there if you're not already following me, and just send me a direct message to book a reading. Or you can visit my website, www.novasinsights.com, spelled the same way you see it down there with no space. I would be more than willing to read with you. I'd be excited to. So again, thank you so much for your patience as I am getting around to recording these videos, getting back on track with that. I love you. Thank you for your patience and your willingness to be receptive to this message. And I trust that if there was something that resonated with you, you will, from your kindness and love within your heart, leave a comment down below, because that helps other people to check out the video too. Helps those people to hit play who might be a little hesitant, who don't know what's really in the video. So your words can bless somebody else, or maybe somebody else will draw some wisdom from what you share. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can be notified when similar videos like these are released. So peace, love, light, and have a blissful 2021.